I smell a revolution brewing again. It may be represented among some of you in this room. It certainly is represented by people who live and work throughout Los Angeles. This is not a West Side problem. One of the reasons we live where we live is because, I used to say, because we're 20 minutes away from UCLA and 20 minutes away from the airport and 20 minutes away from downtown. So we doubled it. It's now 40 minutes away from UCLA, 40 minutes away from downtown. It's a quote from the planning director, Gail Goldberg. I met with Gail Goldberg a couple of times. I'd like to believe that she can execute what she says. She's only been there a year. She hasn't proven to me yet that she's been able to get control of the planning process. I know that consultants and lobbyists have control of the planning process. Yes. I know that documents, environmental reports, and notices of preparation are all written on the word processors or the computer typewriters of the law firms and the consultants that represent the developers. They are not written by people at City Hall. I have a saying, it's not my original saying, but there's a saying in the law that he who controls the drafting controls the outcome. And that stands to reason. So the people who are drafting the environmental documents, who are drafting the documents preparatory to the environmental impact reports, all the stuff that the law requires is not being drafted by the people you elected or you hired to represent your interests, the interests of the people of the city. They're being drafted by the people who have the financial stake in the decision. And if the right decision is ultimately made by the city, by the planning director, the planning commission, or the city council, it is totally a matter of luck. It's not a matter of design. And that's something that you need to focus in on right away. I've complained to the city about this. I've complained to the planning director about this. That to me, it's outrageous when an employee of the planning department gets instructed on when to finish his or her work product by the developer's representative, and then does it pursuant to the direction of the developer's representative. That is absurd. A couple of things that ought to be respected. One, the rule of law. The zoning ought to be respected. And number two, design needs to be respected. There are two ways to build a project. The ugly way, the wrong way, and the right way that respects the neighbor. I want to come back to Gail Goldberg's comment. She made a comment that's quoted there, and she's made it to me a couple of times, that in most places the value of the property is based on what the zoning is. In Los Angeles, the value of the property is based on what the zoning might be. And that is something that I think our elected leaders and appointed leaders, not just in the city, but in all levels of local government, need to understand. There's practically no quality control or quantity control coming out of City Hall today. So virtually every project, whether it's in Boyle Heights, or whether it's in the Fairfax area, or whether it's in the North Hills, or what you name it, Sunland, Tahunga, wherever it is, this is not something that is geographically isolated. And that's the thing I want to just, if there's one thing you leave here from hearing from me, is get off of this east side, west side kick, north side, south side kick. It has nothing to do with that. And, right now, the development community believes, with considerable justification, that almost anything they ask for, they can get. And that nobody is going to stop them, and nobody is going to say no to them. And that if it goes through the planning commission, and the planning commission shoots it down, no problem. We'll go to the city council, and we'll just get it overridden by the city council. There's such a project. You've got to think with your head, not with your heart, on these things. The heart is for some things, the head is for these things. You have to be analytical and understand what the consequences are, because you only get one shot. You do it right, it's wonderful. You do it wrong, and you'll be 50 to 100 years before you can correct that mistake. To your neighbors in your own neighborhood council areas, start organizing, because there's going to be an opportunity to put that organizing to good use. You have no leverage, absolutely no leverage with City Hall, unless they think that you can derail what they're doing. As long as you're a debating society, they'll give you $50,000 a year and tell you to debate. All right, I'll stop.
No, don't stop. Don't stop. Just, you go ahead, Russ.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, they want to play the game of running to Sacramento and running a special interest bill like that through, that totally screws every community in the state of California, then let's screw them back. There's a way to do that. But this goes back to the Gail Goldberg comment, that with a stroke of the pen, the city can massively increase the value of a piece of property, just with a stroke of the pen. I buy a piece of property that is a single-family house, but I pay a value as though it were zoned for an R3 apartment building, and then I run to the city and get it changed to R3. I have done nothing to create that value other than go to the city, and they, with an action of the city council and the signature of the mayor, they create the value that wasn't there before. That's wrong. And it's ad hoc, it's random. And so many of the planning decisions that are being made in the city today are random. The city talks about elegant density. Is there anything elegant about some of the projects you've seen going up around town? Some of them are very attractive. But a lot of them are anything but elegant. They all ought to be elegant. And it ought to be in the context of a master plan that makes sense, not which developer hires which law firm or which lobbyist who can get the job done.